Okay, for this Form 1040-NR video, we want to cover a scenario where the non-resident is filing a 1040-NR non-resident return, and they are claiming treaty benefits to get a reduced tax rate on U.S. source FDAP income. So I want to first go through everything we have in front of us, and then we'll take a look at the rules and the fact pattern, and then actually get into the return. So I do have a complete 1040-NR, which we'll need. So it contains the first two pages that you would see all the time with every 1040-NR. It also includes a Schedule NEC. We also have Schedule OI, which needs to be included, and then we have the 8833 treaty positions included as well, and there's going to be two of these. Now, in addition to the 1040-NR, I do have a 1042S that was provided to the non-resident by their broker. So we'll go through this one, and then there's a second 1042S where the non-resident is receiving royalty income, and so they receive this from the publisher. All right. Now, in addition to those, we do have two slides here, again, going through the rules and the fact pattern, and then we'll jump back into the tax return itself. Okay, so what are some of the basics on 1040-NR filings? So these can be filed under a number of different circumstances, but generally we see these filed if non-residents are engaged in a U.S. trade or business, right? So they receive income that's effectively connected with that trade or business. They need to file a return, report the income, pay the tax. Or we have a non-resident that receives U.S. source income that's not connected with a U.S. trade or business. So this is commonly referred to as FDAP income. And they have to file their return because there wasn't proper withholding taxes on the FDAP amounts. And so if the withholding agent doesn't do their part and take the taxes out, then you are the one that has to file the return and pay the tax. Now, it can also be filed under these types of circumstances, which is going to be the fact pattern we have today, where the non-resident has withholding tax at source, but they want to file a refund claim to get excess withholding back, right? So if the incorrect amount of withholding was applied and they can get a reduced rate, you can go ahead and file the 1040-NR to get a tax refund. So in our fact pattern here, we're going to have John Smith, and John is a citizen and resident of Switzerland. So John is Swiss, he lives in Zurich full-time, and he was formerly living in the U.S., right? He was there working on an H-1B visa, but he left in 2018. So when John was there, he had a U.S. tax ID number, and he did open some brokerage accounts, and those brokerage accounts he invests in U.S. stocks, right? So now it's 2022, and in addition to the U.S. brokerage account, he's also a part-time author. So he published 2 books, and he sells them through this U.S. publisher. And so the publisher pays John royalty income for the sale of each book. Now, what John did for 2022 was he completed a W-8 BEN, and that's appropriate, right? Because even though he has the U.S. tax ID number, he's not a U.S. person, right? So he's not a U.S. citizen. He doesn't have a green card. He's a non-resident living in Switzerland, so he is a foreign person. So he does the W-8 BEN, and he gives this to the broker, the stockbroker, and the publisher. But on the W-8 BEN, he did not claim any treaty benefits, right? And so if you don't claim any treaty benefits, the default rates apply, which is generally 30% withholding tax on U.S. source FDAP income. So the broker withheld 30% in tax on the U.S. source dividends paid into his account, and then the publisher withheld 30% in taxes on the U.S. source royalties that were paid to John, right? So John sees these, and these are all reported on the 1042Ss, so we'll have a closer look at those. So John receives these, and then he learns that, well, I should have been claiming, or I could have been claiming treaty benefits, and I could get a reduced withholding tax, right? And so in order to get the money back from the IRS, because those amounts have already been paid, he's going to file a 1040-NR, he's going to report the income, and then claim the reduced rates. All right, so let's go to the second slide here and talk about treaty-based return disclosure. So the 8833 is where we report and claim treaty benefits, right? So it has to be filed if a taxpayer is taking a treaty-based return position unless reporting is specifically waived, right? And so it's really important to review the form instructions. So look at the 8833 and then also look at the regulations here. So 6 114-1B contains where reporting is specifically required. And then 6114-1C contains some exclusions where reporting is waived. Now, when we talk about FDAP income, so obviously you can claim treaty benefits for a number of different reasons, right? If you have permanent establishment issues, you're dual resident taxpayer, and then FDAP income, claiming a reduced rate on FDAP income can certainly be done on the form. Now, FDAP income can be quite tricky because the very unique circumstances that apply to each taxpayer might require an 8833 or it might not require it. So you can claim the treaty position, but you don't have to actually disclose it on the 8833. Now, in our scenario, what we're going to see is that John can likely not have to file this 8833, but we're going to do it anyway. And, I often try to do that just because I think that it's just not worth missing it, right? I think the 8833, again, just for completeness on the return, make it very clear why you qualify for the benefits, and then it's all been documented in the return. But again, in some cases, you can claim treaty benefits, reduced rates, without having to specifically disclose it on an 8833. And in other cases, it is required. So it's exempt. So 8833 can be exempt if your treaty position exempts from tax or reduces the rate of tax on FDAP income if the beneficial owner is an individual or a governmental entity, right? So that's effectively John, right? So John is a natural person. He's an individual. These amounts are being paid to him personally and not into another foreign company. And so that's important because a lot of these circumstances where the reporting is specifically required occur when you have amounts paid to foreign companies, so not individuals, or they're paid to individuals, but there's related party issues, right? And so in our case, we're not going to necessarily have to do it, but again, we're going to take the position anyway, and then we want to lay it all out on the 8833. Just so the IRS has a full record, and if John is ever curious why, in the future he took those positions, well, he's got it all on the return. All right. So let's have a look at the 1042Ss, and then we can start to look at the tax return itself. So the first 1042S, right, this is coming from the broker. So the broker down here, fake brokerage company, prepared this 1042S and provided it to John. So the income code, U.S. source dividends, $3,020 was the amount of dividends paid to John during the year. And then the tax rate here is 30%, right? Because remember, the broker defaulted to the base rate of 30% because John didn't claim any kind of treaty benefits when he completed the W-8 BEN. So 30% times $3,020 works out to be the $906 in federal taxes withheld. So that's the amount of credit in federal taxes he'll get on the amounts withheld by the broker. Now, the second royalty, or the second 1042S here, is for the royalties, right? So this one was provided by the publishing company to John, and so the income is U.S. source royalty income. He was paid $1,800 in gross U.S. royalties, right, on those book sales. And the amount of federal tax withheld, again, there is 30% or $540 on that amount. Now, these are all really important, obviously, because in order to claim the credit on the 1040NR, we're going to need this supporting documentation. Right? We're going to need to confirm that the tax was withheld, it was paid to the IRS, and so we go ahead and claim the same on the 1040NR. Now, if I jump back to the 1040NR, we'll look at, let's go to the Schedule 10 or NEC first, right? So if we look at the Schedule NEC, this is where we report the U.S. source FDAP income that's not effectively connected with a U.S. trade or business. And so you'll see here that we have two line items that are important to us. We have 1A, dividends paid by U.S. corporations, and then line 5, other royalties. So remember, the U.S. source dividends were subject to a 30% tax rate, but under the treaty, we're going to be claiming the reduced 15% rate available to John. Now, every treaty is different. The circumstances are different, so always read the treaty carefully to make sure what the reduced rate is available to you, and then you can claim that reduced rate. So the $3,020, John's going to put it here in column B for the 15% tax rate, And then under the treaty, the royalty income is actually subject to a 0% rate. So his $1,800 in U.S. royalties gets a 0% tax rate, and it's reported there on line 5. So the adjusted amount of tax that John actually should owe after claiming the treaty positions is the $453. So 3,020 times 15% is 453. 1,800 times 0 is 0. So the total amount of tax that John actually owes on this income is $453. So when those amounts are reported up here, right, the tax that he owes on the income not effectively connected, right, $453. And then the amount of credit he gets are the federal taxes withheld on the 1042Ss. So the amount of federal income tax withheld is reported here on line 25G. So there's the Form 1042S amounts. And then the total, when we add up the two from both 1042Ss, we get $1,446. And so that's going to result in a refund of $993. All right. So that's how all of the financial numbers are moving around here on this return. Now, of course, the important part is the treaty position, right? So we do have to complete Schedule OI. So John's filled out all this accordingly. So he's a citizen and resident of Switzerland. As far as his U.S. immigration status, in 2022, he's not present in the U.S., but he does have to disclose that he was formerly living in the U.S. So he changed his status in November 2018 from an H-1B to just a B-2 visitor visa. He's disclosed the number of days he was in the U.S., which is none for the last 3 years. And then he's indicated the last tax return he did file was the 2018 Form 1040. All right. Now, the treaty position. So again, we have one treaty position here for the reduced rates on the dividends, and then we have a second one here for the reduced rates on the royalties. Now, it's all FDAP income, so a common question is, well, can I just do one? Can I consolidate these? Our recommendation is you should do them separately if you're referencing different articles. So the reduced rate on dividends we'll find in Article 10 2B, but the reduced rates for royalties is a separate article in the treaty, so it's in 12B1. And so for that reason, I think it's necessary to provide separate treaty positions, right? Because everything, again, each treaty is slightly different. There's going to be different requirements to qualify for relief. And so in this case, we want to have them separately done here. So as far as what's required here, again, the position is not required to be disclosed on the 8833, but we're filing it anyway. And so we've indicated the treaty country is Switzerland. We give a reference to the reduced rate of the dividends, and then the section of the Internal Revenue Code that is being overridden, right? So in 871, that's where it lays out that U.S. source FDAP income paid to non-residents is subject to a 30% tax. And so that's the amount that we're overriding and we're reducing it. And then we do have to disclose the LOB article that we're relying on. So in John's case, he is an individual. He's a citizen and tax resident of Switzerland, so he qualifies. Okay. Now, in box 3, not necessarily required, but good to include it if you have it. In our case, we do. So the payor, the income for the dividends, is the brokerage company. So John just pulls this information off the 1042S, and then he does the same for the royalties, right? So the publishing company that paid the royalty income, he can input their information there. Now, the last piece here is explain the treaty position taken. This can be as lengthy or short as you feel is necessary, but in our case here, we simply laid out that John is a citizen and tax resident of Switzerland. He received these U.S. source dividends, and he's claiming the reduced tax rate available under the treaty. And he does satisfy the LOB, the limitation on benefit provision, because he is an individual, and he is, again, a resident of the country in which he is claiming the treaty benefits from. So, okay, so that covers it. I hope this was helpful. Again, it really important to check the 8833 instructions very carefully, depending on the position you want to take, because again, it's a very long laundry list of positions that must be specifically disclosed and others that you don't necessarily have to. But of course, if you want to be on the safe side, I suppose you can always file the 8833, claim the position, and then perhaps it'll just make your life a little bit easier. So, All right, so that covers it. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you.